Alright, how's it going, guys? Sorry for the delay on the update, but yeah, just been really busy lately. So as you can see, there's been a radical change in the area. A lot of new things, a lot of things have been removed. So what I'm going to talk about today is what I have going currently, as well as some of the plans I have for the near future. So let's head up here. So in front here, we have my sprouts. With this particular plant here, if you don't know, this is called moringa, or also known commonly in Hawaii and the Philippines as marunggay or kalamunggay. If you don't know too much about this plant, I highly suggest that you do some research, because they're saying that this is going to become the superfood, the next superfood and next big thing with regards to health foods. So I like to say this is going to be the next kale that's gonna explode on the health scene. The funny thing is that Filipino people, especially, that at least with my experience, have been eating this for a very, very long time, and they already can attest to the health benefits of growing and eating this tree. So basically, you just eat the leaves, but it also provides it looks like a seed pod, or it is a seed pod, and basically you can use the entire tree for various different things. But yeah, do more research on this plant if you don't already know about it, and if you can grow it, definitely start growing it. Alright, moving on this way, we have my lemon sprouts. I'm not sure which variety this is, but every time I make a drink called limoncello, I use organic lemons, and hopefully that can focus. There we go. And what I end up doing is I take the discarded lemon, pull out the seeds, freeze the juice, and I sprout the seeds basically. So yeah, as you can see, we got some guys going. I'm planning to put these guys into grow bags and hopefully propagate them up to a bigger size before I transplant them into the ground. It's been my dream to have some kind of lemon tree orchard, because lemons can be quite expensive, especially with regards to the organic lemons. So I know they take a while to grow, but if I can have my own lemon trees and my own lemon orchard to make limoncello, hey, sounds awesome to me. Alright, moving on. Not sure if I highlighted on this guy in the last video, but this is my soursop tree. So basically, I got this tree from my father. He really loves soursop juice, and figured, you know, hey, they had it on sale at the nursery, so might as well pick it up. The soursop tree is a tropical plant. I think it's commonly associated with food and juices from Jamaica, but it's pretty prevalent throughout tropical areas in the world. If you don't know what soursop is, it's some type, I want to call it like a prickly fruit. Really sweet, really delicious, lots of health benefits. So this is more of a novelty for me. I'm just growing it because my father really likes the fruit, so we're hoping to propagate the tree and maybe get some soursop fruit. So definitely we'll keep my eye on this and see how it goes. Alright, just picked this up about 2 days ago. This is known as stevia or sweet leaf. So yeah, I picked this up because, you know, I really like the fact that I can have a sugar alternative. Stevia, I'm gonna call it stevia, is far more sweeter than sugar, and it doesn't have the effects that sugar does. So it's a very valuable herb to have, especially for people with things like diabetes or any type of low tolerance to sugar or the effects of sugar. So I picked this up because I actually just started juicing, which I'm going to talk about when we move over to the actual rain gutter grow system. So these two guys are just chilling in a Oh, excuse me. They're just chilling in a bucket that I'm making. Or, excuse me. Sorry. They're just chilling in a container that I'm using for now. I'm planning to turn this whole area into a giant kiddie pool, or kiddie pool hybrid, or whatever you want to call it. So, yeah, hopefully this guy does well, and hopefully we can start propagating more seeds and making more plants through cuttings, so we can have more sugar leaf. Alright, moving on. Superstar of the rain gutter grow system, the breadfruit. Now, I'm not sure if you guys remember how small, or I should say how big small this guy was in the last video, but it has grown exponentially. I'm quite blown away by the growth rate of my tree, and compared to other trees in the vicinity, you know, it's been taking off. I highly attribute that to the grow bag, because it's only been about, 2 months, and this tree is almost ready to be put in the ground. I'm going to give it maybe 1 or 2 more months, and trying to get it up to at least the height of the fence, and then we're going to put this guy in the ground. But to give you an example of when I first got the tree, the leaves were this big. So let me see if I can get that. You know, maybe 2 hand widths, or 2 hand lengths, and a little bit wider than 1 hand width. Alright, so this is when I first got the tree, and then after I put it into the grow bag, so once again for reference, that big, and over the past few weeks / months, the leaves have grown to 3 times their size. So yeah, I was quite blown away by this. I mean, the leaves coming out are huge, and compared to my other neighbors who have had their trees for quite some time now, you know, it's putting out leaves that are basically almost adult size, if not adult size. So does the grow bag system work? You bet it does. Same with the soursop. When I first got the soursop, it was basically, you know, a few twigs. I think it was like this branch here sticking out, and as you can see, it has a little trunk down here. But as soon as I put it into the grow bag and let it do its thing, you know, foliage just started erupting out of the tree. So I am definitely sold on the grow bag system, or using the grow bags in the system, and I'm going to talk about that at the end of the video. Alright, so before we move on, you might see that this is my rain gutter grow system area, obviously, but I'm using a different setup. So I was really inspired by Chris from Hawaii, and how he used vinyl posting for his pop bottle garden. And I really like the idea that, you know, you could have a semi-closed system, and that basically it would help deter the effects of having an open rain gutter system, such as, you know, the algae and whatever was growing in there, bugs getting in there, especially with the mosquitoes. So what I did was, the first one I built, I got a I believe this is a 72-inch vinyl post, and basically I drilled the necessary holes, spaced them out correctly, and I was able to fit 5 grow bags here, and each grow bag is sitting on a 5-gallon lid with the necessary hole cut in the middle. And at the end over here, I drilled, I believe this is a 2-inch hole, excuse me, maybe not 2-inch, don't know, but hey, whatever. And basically this is how I reload / refill the system. So I have a rubber stopper in here. I like to do things manually because I'm down here anyway, so figured I'd save the money. And basically I refill here, put the rubber stopper back in, come back next day or the following day and check on the water levels. So I had to rebuild this, or excuse me, I had to build another system because I sold off my other original systems to make space so I can make the kiddie pool area. And they didn't have the 72-inch vinyl posting, so I had to go and get the, excuse me, let me back up. This is actually 4 inches, and the new system I just built is 5. This system is 90, I want to say 94, maybe 96 inches long. Let's say 96. Yeah, I'm gonna go with 96. So yeah, because they didn't have the 72 inch or 72-inch posts in stock at Lowe's, I had to opt out and get the 5-inch 5-inch wide by 96 inches long post. And what I found out was you actually you don't really gain that much surface area. I was able to sneak in 1 additional plant, but as you can see, I have 5 back here, and I only can fit 6 here. Granted, for this system, I gave it a little bit more space, but even if you factor in the space, you know, between each grow bag is only about a 1/4 inch, maybe a 1/2 inch at the most. And if you were to factor in that overall and just squish them as close together, you still wouldn't really be able to fit any more buckets here. So if anyone is planning on using vinyl fence posting for the rain gutter grow system, I suggest going the cheaper route and buying multiple 72-inch systems, which are 4 inches wide, versus buying the longer 96-inch system, or excuse me, 96-inch posts. And another benefit of the 72-inch posts that are 4 inches wide is that you actually it's more efficient for the plant because, or excuse me, more efficient for the system, because the net cup is literally sitting only an inch from the bottom, whereas here you need to fill up that extra water. So it needs 5 inches, obviously, because it's 5 inches high by 5 inches wide, so you need to fill that up, and the net cup will only sit 3 inches into the post, so you'll have an extra 2 inches of water that basically will never get used once the plant sucks up all the first 3 inches of the water. So a lot more efficient and effective to use the 4-inch post, in my opinion. Alright, glad we got that out of the way. Sorry if that was confusing, but yeah, let's talk about the system now. So here we have a breadfruit keiki, or breadfruit baby, and we saved this from our main tree. As I believe I explained in the breadfruit video, the breadfruit propagates through root division, or excuse me, not root division, but basically it sends up sprouts through its roots. It can be propagated through seeds, but it's not very common for that to happen. So the most common way the breadfruit propagates is through sprouts popping up from its roots. So this was a little bit too close to the house, and basically my family members dug it up and wanted to see if I could save it. So it was doing okay. It's a little bit weak right now, but it was doing okay. And I did a bad thing and put it in full sun when it was in a shaded area in the original system, and basically it didn't like that transition too much. So hopefully, you know, being in another blocked off area, protected area from direct sunlight, we're gonna see if we can bring this guy back to life. Alright, back here we have Malabar spinach. This is a tropical plant, a tropical vining plant. It's pretty common in the Philippines and Southeast Asia. I'm not sure about China, but I know in the Philippines it's quite popular. It's a great spinach alternative. Here in Hawaii it's quite hard to grow spinach, so this will actually work perfectly as a substitute. It does have a different consistency and texture in the mouth. It's a little bit, as I like to call, juicy. A lot more watery than spinach, but still delicious. There are two varieties. This is the green. Excuse me. This is the green. There is also a red variety, which used to be right there. I had two of these guys going, but when I switched out the system, I miscalculated and forgot that I needed to make a space for the red Malabar spinach. But no worries, they propagate really easily, and they do take some time to grow, but when they grow, it's definitely worth it. So if you can grow this plant, I highly suggest looking into it. Alright, back here, if you don't know what this is probably one of the most important plants you should have in your garden, and this is comfrey. I don't want to spend too much time talking about comfrey, but you can use this plant as a natural fertilizer. Comfrey is a bioaccumulator, so when you put it into the ground, obviously it's in the rain gutter grow system, I'm going to talk about that, but when you take comfrey and you put it into the ground, it has a very long taproot that extends about 15 to 20 feet, and it basically punches through the soil and begins to mine up all the minerals from deep within the soil. It pulls up those minerals and then it sends it into its leaves. So when you take the leaves and use it to mulch around your plants, basically you're getting, all those minerals, and I don't want to say vitamins, but all those nutrients, let's just say, that plants normally can't get. And what's really cool about the comfrey plant is that instead of being nitrogen rich, it's actually really rich in potassium. So it's very, very wonderful for fruit trees. So what I've gone and done is placed about 4 comfrey, excuse me, and planted them all around my fruit trees. So my breadfruits have these guys planted around them. I have some citrus trees, my avocado tree, they all have this guy going around them. And then I also dedicated a small area to propagate these guys, because they're not too common and they're really easy to propagate. Basically root division, so you just take some roots, cut them into about 2 to 3 inch sections, and plant it in the ground, and these guys will grow. So definitely do some research if you don't know about comfrey. Probably one of the most beneficial plants to have for your garden. Alright, here's a pepper plant. Now let's see if I can find it. Let's take a walk over here. So about 5 weeks ago, all my pepper plants started to get very frail like this. So this is one of the guys in the original system. He has rebounded, but basically all my pepper plants got very yellow and depressed, and I didn't know what was going on. And what I determined was, at that time, we were at the peak of Hawaii's wet season. So Hawaii has 2 seasons, wet and dry / hot. So during the wet season, I'm assuming that because of the excess rain, the soil was overly saturated, and I'm assuming that the plants didn't really take well to that, because a lot of the plants in my system weren't faring well. Another thing to note is that I was not fertilizing at all over the past 2 to 3 months. I wanted to see how well the system would do in a low maintenance setting where I wouldn't add any fertilizer. And basically now I know I need to fertilize. But something interesting happened about, like I said, 5 weeks ago. I just finished my first batch of biochar, and I wanted to see how it would affect the plant growth. So I went ahead and I added the biochar. Here's a small piece. Let's focus. Okay, maybe not. So I added about 2 handfuls to the plant, and not giving all the credit to the biochar, so I also made my own natural water-soluble calcium solution, and I added that to the plant. And This plant went from being a little frail guy, and it just exploded over the past 5 weeks. I mean, it's been putting out peppers like crazy. All these blossoms, everything just started coming out within 2 weeks. So biochar and my Korean natural farming technique that I used definitely had a major effect on my plants. So I will be doing a video about my biochar process and what I got going on with that, but really impressed with the results and definitely sold on using biochar in my future crops. Alright, moving on, just some cilantro down here. I picked this up from Home Depot the other day. Really good herb to have, really good for your health. Helps with detoxifying body, cleaning the body out of toxins and basically any type of unnecessary materials accumulated in the body. So yeah, if you can grow it, grow it. Alright, back here we have what is known as Okinawan spinach. This is actually, it has many names and is quite popular in the health, and well, those with health problems, it's quite popular. It has many different nicknames. Longevity spinach. They attribute this plant to why, as the reason to why, I guess in Okinawa, a lot of people have a very, very extended lifespan, and they are attributing one of those factors in that to this plant. It's also known as the diabetes plant. Okinawan spinach has a very strange effect on blood sugar levels, and from the research I've gathered, it has the potential to level out hyperglycemic incidents. So if your blood sugar gets too high, they suggest eating this spinach. A few leaves will help. Basically, a few leaves supposedly will help level out your blood sugar. And the cool thing about it is that it does, while it it helps to combat hyperglycemia, it doesn't push people into hypoglycemic incidents. So it'll help regulate your blood sugar when it's too high, but it tends not to have the effect of making your blood sugar too low. So, you know, that's good news for people with diabetes. Here in Hawaii, diabetes is a major problem, and it's a major problem in our family as well. So definitely going to start incorporating this guy into our diet, and we'll see if it has any positive effects. There are two types of Okinawan spinach. This is the green Okinawan spinach, and this is the bicolor Okinawan spinach. I believe the scientific name is Gynura procumbens, and this is Gynura crepiotes or something like that. But I'm just growing both, so you know, they might have similar nutritional profiles, you might have different nutritional profiles. I'm just growing both to have a diverse, basically a diverse diet. So yeah, if you guys can grow this or you guys want more information, look it up. Alright, moving on. Check these guys out first. Basically Swiss chard beets, nothing to talk about there. Interested to see how the rain gutter grow system coupled with the grow bags are going to help with the propagation of these two plants, especially with the beets, being that beet bucket over there is Mr. Succo numero uno. It was a major fail, so I'm hoping that my second attempt at the beets in the rain gutter grow system will be a success. Alright, up here, these are Jerusalem artichokes. So if you're a prepper or you want a solid food staple that will never fail, you need to grow you some Jerusalem artichokes. This is the survival food. Compared to many other plant species, this this plant's roots, which are usually what are eaten, provides more caloric density than I believe any other plant that can be eaten. It might be just associated with root vegetables, but from what I heard, it's probably the most calorically dense vegetable to eat. really easy to grow, and if you want more information, I mean, you can look it up. There's pluses and minuses to growing this in the garden, but I wanted to see how it would do in the rain gutter grow system, specifically with the grow bags. John Collins did a video in which he grew about 8 pounds of Jerusalem artichoke in a 3-gallon bucket. The problem I saw with that, using a bucket, was that the artichoke roots, or the Jerusalem artichoke roots, aka sunchokes if you know it by that name, basically broke through the bucket. So my thinking was, I wanted to see how well it would do in a grow bag, and see if it would basically break the bag. Because if not, then hey, we got a renewable bag to grow Jerusalem artichokes. And these guys are gaining popularity. There's a whole bunch of nutritional benefits to these guys, and I've seen these in Hawaii going for about $10 to $11 a pound. So definitely worth a look into for possibly a food crop that you could grow, being that they're gaining popularity. So do more research on these guys if you're interested, and definitely try to grow them. Alright, over here we have some turmeric growing in a 5-gallon bucket cut in half. Basically, I kept the lid on, drilled the hole in the top, drilled the hole in the bottom, cut it in half. Voila. Smaller buckets. I was quite interested in continuing with this, but since I believe I'm going to convert strictly over to using only grow bags, I figured this was a good test and a good experiment, but I probably won't be doing this in the future. So yeah, I have some turmeric going in here. Turmeric can get quite expensive in Hawaii, so it's best that we grow it, because we actually have the conditions to do so. If you don't know about turmeric, you definitely need to do some research. Extremely beneficial plant to incorporate into your diet. Used extensively with what's commonly known as herb or spice, but the benefits come from using the fresh stuff. So many medicinal and health benefits associated with incorporating turmeric into your diet that I'm surprised many people don't grow it. So it has been taking a while, but as with all things, you gotta have patience, and this plant is definitely worth the patience. So yeah, if you can grow turmeric, definitely grow it. If you need more information, then basically just give it a look, or look it up. And just a real quick glance at my maypop vine. I did make a tea with the leaves finally, and I must say it was quite an interesting experience. I have problems with insomnia, so one night I had to give this a shot just to get some rest, and it did work. Unfortunately, I felt like I was hungover the next day, because this plant, one of the side effects they said is actually you feel like you've been drinking. But yeah, I need to tweak the dosage and figure out how it works with my body. I think I used a little bit too much, which would have been 3 leaves. But yeah, so really happy with the results, though. It did help with my insomnia, so definitely will be keeping an eye on this guy. Alright, so that's basically it, guys. That's this month's and probably April's update. I'll do another update in May. But future plans. So as I said, I will be doing a kiddie pool-ish system over here. I'm probably going to build a frame and put the grow bags right in there. Really impressed with what the grow bags did for the soursop and the breadfruit. So, which is why I have it incorporated into the rain gutter grow system. I probably won't be building, if I am successful with the kiddie pool system, I probably won't be building any more rain gutter systems for myself, simply because based off what my experience with the soursop and the breadfruit, you know, the kiddie pool system is probably the way to go. But with regards to my Ringa to Grow system, like I said, I'm gonna phase out the buckets and stick with the grow bags, just because I've been having such amazing results with it. And all the trees involved in the system, as I've highlighted in other videos, will be transferred to the project I'm doing behind the home, which is basically rebuilding the forest and building a sustainable food forest to provide us fruits and other various foods from trees. So really excited about that project as well. And so yeah, that's basically it. One quick look again. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, feel free to comment or send me a message, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already done so. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Talk to you later.